BYU upsetting Texas Tech was the marquee storyline of the weekend in the Big 12. But for all you bubble teams, did they each have to lose? Also, Auburn's getting into March Madness, but Baylor's not. They have the same record, and one team plays in a better conference. This is a Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor crossover.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to a Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor crossover. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. Thank you for making this show your first listen every single day. That is Cameron Stewart of Locked On Baylor. Thanks for making his show your first listen. We will start wrap around,
have it around.
One of the words about
definitely
Big 12
not the other around
in basketball this weekend, and the absurdity that it effectively was not. A lot of chalk in this one, and a lot of bubble teams have been booted out. Who's still making March Madness? Then, hey, the Big 12 and the ACC making a pact to merge. That's the newest report, and it probably saves the ACC, honestly, which is good for them. And then finally, ESPN has Auburn in March Madness, but not Baylor. They have the same resume. I'm not saying the Baylor Bears should make the tournament. I'm saying there are some Big 12 teams being screwed here. West Virginia is being screwed here because we need to let Auburn in. If you hit subscribe, we get to keep our jobs. Cam, watching Big 12 basketball this weekend, the bubble teams needed some help. Like if Arizona State goes to Iowa State, maybe they're at least in the conversation. If Oklahoma State beats Houston, maybe we're at least talking about them. Cincinnati needed to go beat TCU to be squarely in. I think TCU already was squarely in. And even Baylor's 101-75 win over Utah won't do much. Just didn't.
Not for you, maybe.
It's just what we saw this weekend. I think the biggest highlight, we'll start here, was BYU knocking off Texas Tech to prove. Like, what's nuts is they're losing unranked games. They're losing unranked games at home just to now go into March Madness and say, oh, yeah, if you're a 2 seed, we can beat you. But also, if we're playing William and Mary and William fails to show up, BYU is going to lose that game. They are just, what a case study.
What a while. This is a team that just knocked off number 10 in the country to get to the number 10 seed in their own conference. I mean, I love that. I can't believe we're not starting with the giant breaking news of the weekend. And that is Donna Kelsey remodeling her home. Like, I can't believe we're just skipping over
Cincinnati
that.
tie-in to Donna Kelsey. Yep.
Sometimes we need to go farther than sports, Drake. Okay, there's other stuff happening in the world right now. Other really important things.
Sports. Yeah.
Like Donna Kelsey. BYU, dude. Like, I want to say they're this team that you just don't know what to expect from them, but like the way they've been going the last month and a half, you kind of do. This is against the grain, right? This isn't like TCU having a month where they can't lose, a month where they can't play good basketball, and then another month where they can't lose. Like BYU has been bad by their standards, by what they expected to be, even before the Richie Saunders injury. It gets kind of worse. And then they knock off Texas Tech. But this goes to what we were talking about last week of like, they're not a chalk team in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Yeah. Like, they're not. You can't just plug them into the Sweet 16. But can they get there? I mean, after what you just saw them do to Tech, the answer is yes. Yes, they can get there. I'm interested to see what their seeding looks like because they, let's just play it out like they lose in the first round of the Big 12 tournament because it doesn't really matter. They're going to be in March Madness no matter what. Like, that would mean they have dropped quite a bit in the last few weeks, and they have to do some bracket shuffling because of the whole no Sundays thing. So, like, I'm interested to see if they get kind of screwed on Selection Sunday or if they're punching above their weight a little bit on Selection Sunday. But, yeah, man, DeBonsa gets hot, and you can win 2 games in 3 days if you're BYU. Like, again, that's something that very well could happen. They are still very much capable of that.
Yeah, you have the best college basketball player in the world on your team, so that doesn't...
Who might come back.
Hurt you. Who might come back as well.
That was a great quote, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. Reese, like, I might even come back to college. My mom wants to graduate. And then just like,
the guy...
He's like, I might leave, though. He's like,
yeah, pretty awesome. Looking at the Big 12 tournament. Actually, before I say that, what the hell is Texas Tech? For as much as what the hell is BYU? Heck. I would love to know. This Tech team goes on the road without JT Toppin and beats Iowa State at its peak. Like would have been a 1 seed Iowa State. This team goes on the road and wins at Arizona, but loses at home to TCU and on the road to a BYU team that's playing like bad. I don't understand Texas Tech.
Just college babasketball.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, it really is the Big 12, especially these last couple of weeks with all these teams crowding the bubble from the Big 12 and then all of them losing this weekend. But Tech is another fascinating one. They don't have the glaring deficiencies that someone like BYU has on the defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
And they do get really good guard play, which does win in March. So I'm weirdly enough, take out Richie Saunders from BYU, take out JT Toppin from Tech. That should be advantage BYU. And even though BYU won this head-to-head matchup, if I'm more confident about putting a team in the Sweet 16, it's Texas Tech.
Hey.
Can
you answer a question?
Based on our crossovers, probably not pretty well, but
I'm just incredibly confused how the number 5 team in the Big 12, Iowa State, by the way, sucks for them. They don't get the extra bye. They only get 1 bye. How the number 5 team in the Big 12, they are a 3 seed, maybe a 2 seed in March Madness, right?
Yeah.
That's the number 5 team in the conference.
Yeah.
The number 7 team in that same conference, West Virginia. Joe Lunardi's literally never heard of West Virginia.
Sorry.
Joe Lunardi would rather put Winthrop in on an at-large than West Virginia.
Dude, this was like when Locked On did the top 100 college football players going into the season, and they just forgot that Sawyer Robertson played college football. Last year, I think Lunardi was like, oh, yeah, West Virginia. Little late. And he's kind of doing it again. We're not going to sit here and say that West Virginia should be a 2 seed.
No.
But I am wondering what more they have to do to be in the field, to be an 11.
Put them to play in.
You know what I mean? Yeah, to be playing in the first 4 even. What more do they have to do when you look at this season and last season?
And I get it. They've lost games. Everybody makes mistakes.
They have lost games. Yeah.
Everybody has those days. They don't have as many marquee wins. But, they play in the toughest conference in college basketball and finished 7th.
Yeah, and it's they did beat Kansas. You know what I mean? They don't have 5 huge wins or 3 huge wins, but that's a signature victory.
Right. That's
you know what I mean?
Throttled UCF. They're 18-13. And we're going to let Auburn
that win is as good as Auburn's best win.
Yeah.
Which is Florida.
Sure. You know what? I missed. Yeah, they have Kansas. They became by double digits too, by the way.
Yeah.
Double digits. Yeah, that BYU win at the time was pretty impressive too. That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and BYU's a nailed-on tournament team.
Much has changed. Yeah, West Virginia. I'm pro West Virginia getting in. I don't think anybody else is though, and that's a problem. It shouldn't be a problem. Coming up, a merger. There's been a merger. Big 12 ACC. Locked on Big 12. Locked on Baylor. Today's show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Boom, boom, boom. With the number 1 overall pick in the 5 Hour Energy Draft, Drake Toll selects strawberry banana. That's my favorite one. It's so good, dog. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft. 18 different flavors to choose from. What I love about it is not that acidic. I don't like the aspartame and the acid and the taste and all that of the regular jazz, the old jazz. I like the new school, beautiful, hit my tongue and make it nice. 5 Hour Energy. Strawberry banana. You can get it at Amazon or at 5hourenergy.com. 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. 5 Hour Energy shots. Today's show is also brought to you by Indeed. Email me right now, Drake at thesavannahbananas.com if you want to be the next intern of Locked On Big 12 and run the Locked On Big 12 Twitter account. I don't want to run it. I don't, please. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing. Indeed Sponsored Jobs is going to help you make a new hire. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast, Indeed.com/podcast, Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Please welcome to the stage, Cameron Stewart, Locked On Baylor. If you go to lockedonbaylor.supercast.com or lockedonbig12.supercast.com, everydayers can get ad-free Locked On Big 12 and access to a Discord. I don't really know what Discord means, but I'm figuring it out every day. I'm figuring it out. That is Cameron Stewart of Locked On Baylor. Cam, brand new news from a reputable reporter on college football realignment.
What has happened to Donna Kelsey?
Christopher Lambert tweets, ACC and Big 12 to discuss the possibility of consolidating media rights. That would effectively mean a merger. They're going to potentially discuss a merger. Here's why. Here's why this makes so much sense. Is West Virginia and Louisville, same conference. Pitt, Cincinnati, same conference. Virginia Tech playing UCF. I can wrap my head around that. I'll figure that one out. I'll get
versus
there.
Duke.
Yeah. Oh, Tech Duke basketball.
BU versus BC.
Herein lies the problem. Here's the layers we're going to unpack with this.
Yeah.
When you merger, Brett Yormark and Jim Phillips, who's an idiot, when you merger, you're going to have to kick out Syracuse. You're going to have to kick out Boston College. If you want to survive, we need to get this down to, and Lord, please forgive me, 20, 22 teams. There are 17 in the ACC and 16 in the Big 12. We need to cut 11 schools out of this merger.
So we will have Pitt, West Virginia, just probably somewhere else if we're cutting 11 teams out of it.
We're cutting 11 teams. I don't know if we will get Pitt in there. We should, but I don't know if we will.
I wonder though, do they do... You're right. At the end of the day, you are right about this, but I'm wondering, like, can you get around this by doing some sort of scheduling? Like, you play 6 ACC teams if you're an ACC team.
No, because
Big 12 teams.
No, yes, that sounds so nice, and it would be awesome.
I know it's a lot of moving parts.
But here's the deal, man. Here's the reason. At some point, something's got to give, and you'll either have to A, merge, or B, the Big 12 resorbs whoever they want out of the ACC, not named Florida State and Clemson, right? Who will probably go into the Big 10 but they also both suck at football now. And so they're less sexy than they were 2 years ago when everybody wanted both of them. So kind of what we're getting at here, this is a move to counter the Big 10 and the SEC paying $55 million a year per school. Like your school in those conferences is making that. The Big 12 is like $35 million. That's a $20 million gap. That's an entire revenue share to your entire athletic department. We can't sustain that. We're going to have to do something different. And it's kind of like if you combine the top end of the Big 12, top end of the ACC, you can get $48 million a year per each member school, have a competitive revenue from TVs, go to 3 conferences right off into the sunset. This is probably where we're actually heading because we learned nothing on Friday at the president's seminar.
I mean, yeah, it reminds me of when the Pac-12 dissolved. Brett Yormark had already made all those moves, those TV rights deals beforehand. It kind of kept the Big 12 alive. That's probably the next thing you're looking at of making it a 3-conference league, so to speak. Like, three giant conferences, which does stink. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, boy, I love that for college football.
It sucks.
Or college basketball.
Whoa. Can I pause you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going. I do kind of love it.
Why is that?
I do kind of like West Virginia and Pitt being a conference game.
No, I know. I like those things.
I do like that we're going to get some. We're going to be able to, and this is the saving grace of it. Let's say 24 teams, okay? Now we can do pods of 6.
Yes.
You play your 6 regional teams. And so I know, which is great. Like
they were terrified of that when we got to 16.
I could give Brett Yormark my taxes right now, and that dude would finish them in 12 minutes. He would just boom, 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 numbers. Yeah. What if I said, Brett Yormark, create good football schedule? Does not compute. Batteries run out.
404, bad getaway.
Needs to be plugged back in. He's a little dinosaur jumping over the cactuses on the Google feed. He can't figure out scheduling. But if I'm commissioner, get it, Josh Pate's bit. If I'm commissioner, then I think every conference should be. I love the idea of having your 6-team pod, and I can expect it. The SEC West was awesome. East versus, you knew you'd play those 6 teams every year in football and a couple of rotators from the other side of the conference. I don't hate that, man. We used to be a proper society.
And you know what that lends itself to, which is something that the other conferences have talked about.
Drugs. Drugs?
Yeah. A lot of drug talk.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say 24, you do 4 groups of 6, right?
Yeah.
Then what you can do, Drake, pod winners, semifinals, 2 rounds of the Big 12 ACC championship.
Okay.
Remember the SEC was already talking about that.
I love a good pod.
Let's make it a tournament.
I love a good pod.
For the football conference championship. That's huge. That automatically gets you against top competition at the most important part of the year. No having to worry about, BYU, Utah. Is that going to be 2 ranked teams in November? You don't have to worry about that. You're going to have that.
Yeah.
Of course, Duke is going to win the whole thing. Like they did in football. Just going to screw around and win the whole thing.
Duke's going to finish the season.
The whole idea is just up in flames. But
6-6, but technically due to the tiebreaker, Duke will be going to the championship.
And the rising tide lifts all boats, like for both conferences.
No, I like that there are 4 or 5 teams all tied at 11-1 and 10-2, and we just let Duke in there. It's like, by rule, who deserves it? Who's played the hardest?
Is like, we deserve to be in. I think we're in.
You know, that's a funny thing that came out of Duke asking to be in the playoffs. You know, they all knew in the back of their brain, this is never happening. we don't deserve to be here.
It's like you going into some of your shows of like, I'm going to get there somehow in the middle of the first segment. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there. There before the grace of God go all of us.
This news coming from an analyst who covers it closely, by the way, is it's not going to happen tomorrow. Right. So don't freak out. Clickbait. It's not going to happen tomorrow. But this is something that's going to have to happen. The Big 12 in 5 years will not exist as it does today because it's not feasible. Financially, it's not feasible. We can't continue this on this path. And yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Something like this, something of this nature will happen.
Well, I'm just thinking like what from the commissioner's offices, both commissioner's offices in Charlotte and Irving, like what are the downsides? I can think of some member schools that can think of the downsides, the Syracuses and the Boston Colleges of the world.
Well, I think if you're the Big 12, you say the Big 12 says, hey, we're in a better spot for leverage. None of our teams want to leave. So why wouldn't we just come into your league, take the 6 that we want and say, see you to the rest of you? You know, because the Big 12 doesn't want to cut UCF in favor of Duke. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't. I mean, any league probably cuts UCF in favor of Duke. The Big 12 they have loyalty. They don't want to do that. So your Mark's saying, I don't want a merger where we have to cut a bunch of schools. I want to be me. I want to be number one. My. Is that Lone Star?
I don't think so.
Early Tim McGraw. I want to talk about me.
Late, great Toby Keith.
Is it Toby Keith?
I think that
it is. I want to talk about me. That's Toby Keith. Yeah, good call. Good shout. Good shout. Coming up.
I miss him.
ESPN wants to put Auburn in the NCAA tournament, but not West Virginia, not Baylor, not Utah. That's a problem. This is a Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor crossover. Hey, today's show is brought to you by Mazda. Yeah, Mazda, man, something about it. It makes me happy that Mazda has jumped on with Locked On, namely during a time such as this where the big games are upon us. This is Mazda's moving the game forward. For those who show there's more to the score than what's on the screen, the BYU Cougars reminded us of what it takes to raise the bar this week. It's the extra effort off the court, dialing in every detail, giving that extra fire, that grit, the eye never quit. We put the same passion into every model. Highlights make the reel. What it took to get there makes it count. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you. And the BYU Cougars proved that against Texas Tech this week. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you with Mazda. Yes, Cameron Stewart.
So I've been getting a lot of ads for that DTF St. Louis show.
Yep.
All right. It's kind of a murder mystery kind of thing. I just saw the first one that has Linda Cardellini in it.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm in, bro.
Sold.
No questions asked. I am in.
Yeah, we should talk pop culture more on the show. For right now, riddle me this. Batman. West Virginia is the number 7 team in the Big 12. Iowa State is the number 5 team in the Big 12. Iowa State is a 2 seed. West Virginia is a checks notes. Hold on. Wait a second. Wait, hold on. Joe Lunardi's PDF he's got of bracketology doesn't have. Why did he write down West Virginia? Why aren't they on here? The team 2 spots ahead of them is a 2 seed in March. And West Virginia's no, wait, pause. I think he misspelled West Virginia as Auburn.
Classic mistake.
Last I checked, Auburn and Baylor's not very good at basketball. Auburn and Baylor have the same record and the same resume, but ESPN's going to let Auburn into the NCAA tournament and not the Baylor Bears, or more importantly, the West Virginia Mountaineers. Riddle me that.
It has happened. We thought it was happening last year, and it's really happened again this year. The SEC bias knows no bounds. It does not know just football. All right. The SEC bias, it just means more. Now we're going to put it in basketball. Auburn, with the same record as Baylor, who is not getting any consideration and probably shouldn't be getting any consideration. I've watched this team all year. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with that. But the fact that we are considering, like if Auburn gets in, they might well get in over a 31-0 team. And I get it, dude. I get it. Miami's schedule sucks. It sucks. It's strength of schedule like 350. It's horrible. But like, that's an indictment on our conferences then. Like then we shouldn't have any team from that conference going if a 31-0 team from that conference cannot get in. Like that's what messes up with me. I mean, look at this. Baylor and Auburn, man, they're the same team. In fact, Auburn has lost to 2 teams that are ranked 80th or below in KenPom. Baylor only lost to 1. Only lost to 1. Baylor has more quad 2 wins.
Yeah, Auburn has one more quad 1 win, but Baylor has played a much harder. If you've actually watched basketball and don't subscribe to the concepts of ESPN's strength of schedule metrics. That's weird. ESPN makes their own strength of schedule metric, and they utilize where you were ranked at the time, only to find out your team sucked. It's just such a bad format. So ESPN, and some of you are going to say, some of you are going to be stupid about this, and don't be stupid about this, please. You're going to say, well, man, it don't matter. You win the games you're in. Like, I think it's crazy y'all are asking for, special exceptions or for us. You win the game. No, dog, the court of public perception is going to find a way to trickle into how we choose who makes March Madness and who doesn't. It's a room filled with humans, and rhetoric or PR go a long way in these spots, because I've been told, and Pete Souza's brought this up. Both of us are friends of Pete Souza. It's like they're human beings in the room. They know Joe Lunardi. They know Bruce Pearl. They know Graham McCaslin. They don't know the Miami of Ohio head coach. They don't.
They might not even know Ross Hodge.
So they're sitting around there saying, "Hey, let's just go ahead and why would we put Miami of Ohio in? They're not my friend. I know Bruce Pearl. His son's the coach of that team. Auburn's getting in. Period. That's what's going to happen in that room. It's what happened last year with West Virginia being left out in favor of North Carolina. I hope that Mack Rhoades has the courage to step up and say, "Hey, well, Baylor has the same resume as." Wait a second.
Oops.
Mack Rhoades, AD, Baylor, Missouri, Houston, that guy.
Not ringing a bell.
What happened?
The fun is here.
No, I was having a conversation yesterday with I was at my local cupcake store. This guy named Doug McNamee, Waco local, just making cupcakes in the back. Him and I are having a conversation, apron on everything. Yeah, Mack Rhoades.
Yeah. What? You think he could bribe the committee with some cupcakes?
I think Mack Rhoades could bribe the committee with quite a few things, actually. And that guy, the chef, Doug McNamee, guess where he is now? Still making cupcakes. Fans first, though.
So are you trying to tell me that Mack Rhoades' firing is going to keep Baylor out of the NCAA tournament?
I think it's going to keep
put Auburn in the NCAA tournament, whichever one works better for the title?
Because remember, we were sitting there thinking, yeah, all right, cool. The commissioner, leader, whatever the Ayatollah of the College Football Playoff Committee was Mack Rhoades from the Big 12. This is going to help the Big 12 conference. Then Mack did a little of this, a little of that. And instead, they put BYU's number one hater in the room, and an 11-1 Big 12 team got left out entirely, which is insane. And so
it wasn't even talked about during the selection special. Like,
it makes me think that in that room, which was just Condoleezza Rice and Reese Davis, they let some random people in there. Condoleezza Rice, Reese Davis, Barry Alvarez. You're like, Barry Alvarez is still alive? Like, yes, and he's on the committee.
John L. Smith.
Yeah, and they're all sitting there with who's the deposed Kansas AD that's been fired everywhere he's gone and hired Les Miles everywhere he's gone.
For the guy I was thinking of. I don't remember.
I can't either, but it's like those dudes. Jeff Long. I like to think
Jeff Long. That's it.
They're all sitting in the room going, "We should let BYU in." And Mark Harlan's in the corner going, "No, next veto."
No, sorry. Gives like a little Tim Robinson.
But did you see their loss?
Wrong.
That's what's going to happen in March Madness this year when the committee gets in there. They're going to screw Big 12 teams like West Virginia. They're going to screw Baylor. If they let Auburn in but leave Baylor out, it's a slap in the face to Scottsboro.
It kind of is, dude. It kind of is. Like, these are two teams in power conferences that ESPN thinks are about level in conferences. I would say the Big 12 is better. And they did the same thing.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not good, man.
It's not good. You know what? Fine.
Like, if you and I both took a test in the same class and we both got a 76, why do you get a B and I get a C?
You just cooked. Unapologetically, you cooked.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Thank you.
That was for you.
It's a good guy.
Him and Mac Rhodes would probably get along.
Oh.
Getting better at that. It's Cameron Stewart of Locked On Baylor at Real Cam Stewart. Fix it. Fix it, man. Don't let Auburn in and leave West Virginia out.
Wakes up on third base, thought he hit a triple. Like, come on, dude. What a joke. What a joke, man.
Oh,
I'm going to jumpstart this kid's career, huh?
I got a TV job. I'm on TV. Yeah, well, I'm on TV
This
too.
would be the ultimate, like, life is unfair, Malcolm in the Middle moment, right? Like, rich kid, only coaches under his dad. His dad retires 2 weeks before the season or whatever it was, just so his kid could be the coach. They're one of the basketball teams in the nation. And if they get in the NCAA tournament, especially over an undefeated team, like, we might have to trash the entire system. Forget expansion.
Gross. It's probably going to happen, too. This has been, and it always will be. Thanks for making our shows your first listen every single day. Locked On. You know what? Whatever. Thanks again for making our shows your first listen every single day. A crossover with Baylor and Dose Grande.